What can be said about the Lincoln Project that can also be said about Jeffrey Epstein in the same breath? Oh, it's literally beautiful what is happening to this cabal of hateful, evil, sinister people who just live to abhor all of the voting public at large on both sides of the aisle. If you support Trump, you're bad. If you're a Democrat, you're good if you're useful, and then you'll just be back to being shit. But what is happening to them right now is just fucking beautiful. What I have right up here is the homepage of the Lincoln Project. I just have the menu tab pulled down, and boy, the last time we were here, you could see the founders or who's involved with this. I know I can't find anything. It's really weird. You can vote. You can download their podcast. You could contact them, but I wouldn't recommend that unless you're a 16-year-old boy. Like, you can send your name, your postal code, where you can sign up for their newsletter. Or, hey, would you like to make a donation? Oh, you actually can't make a donation. Oh, god damn it. But it's all right. You can still get involved if you want to be a part of their latest sham, but I don't think anybody's going to be answering it because literally everybody's out. Okay? I thought that George Conway would be the next one out, and I didn't realize that he was already out. George Conway, Washington, D.C. based attorney, married to White House counselor Kellyanne Conway, said Sunday he would be withdrawing from the anti-Trump GOP group he helped founded. Yeah, that was when his daughter was going absolutely fucking buck wild, and that whole family is just an entire shit show because I thought everything was all cool and kosher over there. Kellyanne Conway seemed like she was pretty based, and then she started to have some really bad takes, but her daughter's Claudia, and her husband's a fat cuck who started the Lincoln Project. But Godspeed to that family. Hopefully I never have to see them again. Then the next one out, Steve Schmidt. Oh, Steve Schmidt. That's tough. That's real tough. One of the high-profile co-founders of the Lincoln Project announced on yesterday, he was resigning from the group's board. Steve Schmidt's decision comes amid a series of scandals that have plagued the anti-Trump pack run by longtime Republican Bushites operatives. God, you just really hate to see it, and he looks very, very put off by that. Must be a girl running the camera. Presently, the Lincoln Project board is made up of 4 middle-aged white men. That composition doesn't reflect our nation nor our movement. I love how he's deflecting from the fact that he knew everything that was going on with Weaver. I am resigning my seat on the Lincoln Project board to make room for the appointment of a female board member as the first step to reform and professionalize the Lincoln Project. Yeah, but nobody's immediately coming up to fill that position, and the only other female that was left on your co-founder board was Jennifer Horn, and that was the last time that we came in, and she distanced herself from this failing project. It really is beautiful to see. Like, there's this thing that was out there for a while. It's like everybody who would go up against Trump would face the Trump curse, and what does that mean? Well, you go up against the king, you best not miss. It's happened to the Lincoln Project, Andrew Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels, Steve Scaramucci, the Mooch. The list goes on, but that's 7 of them right there. They're just all facing horrible ends because at the end of the day, they're horrible people. Schmidt's announcement comes after the Associated Press reported Thursday that the Lincoln Project's leadership was informed of the June 2020 of at least 10 specific allegations of harassment against co-founder John Weaver, including 2 involving Lincoln Project employees. Oh man, that's what everybody's been speculating, but you just love to see it in writing. New York Magazine also reported Thursday that leaders were aware of allegations against Weaver in June. In late January, the New York Times reported that 21 men accused Weaver, no women there, of sending unsolicited and sexually provocative messages online to young men. And Karl Rove has said that it's been going on since at least '88 with the original H.W. Bush campaign. Funny how it all comes out just after they achieved what they set out to do by not re-electing Trump immediately, but they won't be around in 2024. And if they are, they aren't going to be accepted by the other side, even if Bill Maher gives them softball questions. Listen, if you have anybody from the Lincoln Project right now and you're conducting interviews on them, aren't you just going to ask them a little bit about John Weaver? Well, if you're, that one true liberal who has a platform out there, and you know what, he's fair and balanced because he calls out both sides for the hypocrisy. But the only time that you ever hear about Bill Maher is when he's being hypocritical. I don't care about Bill Maher. I think that he's a relic of the past, just like Howard Stern. It would be just as relevant, okay? Somebody ask what fucking Bill O'Reilly has to think about this situation. It would be just as important. And here's what Maher didn't ask anything about John Weaver scandal during an interview with co-founder Steve Schmidt. HBO talk show host Bill Maher sat down with Lincoln Project co-founder Steve Schmidt Friday evening, just a few hours after Schmidt had announced his resignation from the Never Trump group amid a wave of reports of misconduct allegations against another one of its founders, Mr. Kid Sniffer, John Weaver. And it's pretty obvious that he knew, like we just seen, dating all the way back to June 2020. So what's the excuse here, Bill? Maher, during a nearly 30-minute of hosting Schmidt on the panel of his Real Time with Bill Maher. So if he was on panel, other people would have been there too, and they didn't have the balls to bring any of it up. But he wouldn't have heard them because it would be fully developed balls and not at a little tight wasp's nest. Did not broach the topic of Weaver and instead spoke about the ongoing impeachment trial, and now it's concluded, so I'll have something else to bitch about next week against former President Donald Trump. Hey, Schmidt, isn't Orange Man bad? Oh, he's so bad, Bill. Blah, 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 blah. Fundraising in politics, well, you can't do that at the Lincoln Project anymore. And election-related subjects like flipping battleground states and voter disenfranchisement. Is that what you're going to do for the next, 4 years and just fucking bitch about it? Oh no, you got a midterm coming up and you got to go and help out Nikki Haley with all of her policies. That hasn't been announced yet, but you guys really don't think that one of these weasels is going to try to work their way over there? Because the Lincoln Project's dead. It's done. It's buried. There's no coming back from this, okay? Because it's literally only going to get worse. Who's left on the board? Rick Wilson? I think that's it. That's literally it. It's just that little yard gnome looking motherfucker with the big pointy ears. He looks like a cross between a gremlin and an elf on a shelf. He must have a lot of work around December. That's why they couldn't get around to reporting on all of this kid-touching behavior. But like I said, it's only going to get worse because former Lincoln Project workers asked to be released from non-disclosure agreements. Well, if the organization isn't going to be existing for much longer, how can they enforce non-disclosure agreements? Leaders of the anti-Trump group came under fire from former workers who wanted to talk about John Weaver, a co-founder who harassed young men. Fucking Christ. Leaders of the Lincoln Project, an anti-Trump media venture. That's a nice way to put a pack of neocons. Came under fire on Thursday night from 6 former workers demanding they were released from non-disclosure agreements in order to talk about John Weaver, a co-founder. Yes, we know his background. For their part, the Lincoln Project's top officials, who have been on the defensive for days, weeks, and going to be months over Weaver's, said Thursday night that they were hiring an outside investigator to review his tenure with the organization. Well, there's not going to be left to investigate. Lincoln Project leaders have said they were unaware of Mr. Weaver's behavior until recently. Schmidt's announcement comes after the Associated Press reported Thursday, and that's when the report was released by the New York Times, that the Lincoln Project's leadership was informed in June 2020. Schmidt was one of those leaders. Okay, yeah, just double checking. Some people who worked for the group have disputed that, and so have I, and I would never be caught within 50 miles of any of these creeps. Oh, but then it's required for them to provide their sources, but we just went through 5 days of, just believe our claims. Very funny. New York Times is so intellectually dishonest. 6 former employees and associates called on the Lincoln Project to waive non-disclosure agreements, writing in an open letter which would be provided to the Times that they wanted to be allowed to disclose information that would aid the press, public, and our donors in answering questions relevant to the public interest. I imagine that these are going to happen very soon because, like I said, the Lincoln Project's not going to be around to enforce those non-disclosure agreements. So yeah, it's only going to get worse for these creeps, and I hope this is the last time that we have to report on the Lincoln Project because I don't like them. I don't like giving them any sort of exposure because I think that they should just wither away in the dark corners. But the fact that they are pedophiles and pederasts needs to be exposed. And if you ever see the names of Steve Schmidt, George Conway, Jennifer Horn, Rick Wilson ever pop up on any campaigns going forward, that is an immediate flaming red flag. You need not support them whatsoever. Because they'll just, even if you don't agree with me on all political points, and that's totally fine, just know that these people are backstabbers, traitors, scum of the earth type individuals. And with that said, guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about a whole host of weird stuff, I'd imagine. And yeah, hopefully everything stays peaceful overnight. If you're in a large city, do take care. And I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.